known as the Royal TV. It is better to be late than never, and thank God we are on air live, and thank you so very much for being faithful to this program and the television. On this day, dear viewers, we shall be having a review of all the programs we have had in the month of March. We know very well this should be the last session of Crossviews in the month of March, and so we shall be looking at the topic, a preview of the topics that we have had in the month of March. That is what we shall be doing tonight. And so for today's topic, there are so many, but we shall be touching them in maybe the main items that are very important for us to discuss tonight. And given that you are also a panelist here, as you are out there, you shall have a number on the screen where you shall be calling, or you text on WhatsApp, or you go online to get to us. At this time, dear viewers, we have some of the topics that we discussed in the March sessions of Crossviews. We have the imbroglio that was between the ICT University, especially Professor Mbarika, and the University of Boya. We also have the Pope's visits that we discussed during the March session of Crossviews. We have we discussed the parliament that is still ongoing. We discussed it during this March session of Crossviews, and we shall still be discussing because we still expect a lot from the March session of parliament. The CPDM 41st anniversary that was celebrated this March, 41 years of the CPDM. Then we shall look at the decision that was taken by the Supreme Court that there should be a re-hearing of the Naira 10 problem. You know, they were arrested in Nigeria and brought to Cameroon, and they were given life sentence. But the Supreme Court came back and said the judgment was not very fair and was supported by so many, and so we shall be looking at this. Then the municipal and parliamentary elections that has been postponed right to December 2026. We discussed it during March, so we shall be having a retrospect of this topic. We shall not forget the cabinet reshuffle, which is still awaited till today. It was announced by the President of the Republic during his address on the 10th of February to the youth of Cameroon. We are still waiting for this cabinet reshuffle. We also have the Southwest Cultural Festival that held this March, and the International Women's Day. We have so many of these topics, so we shall be just using maybe some 10 minutes to touch the most important aspects of each topic, because it is the end of month, so we want to have a retrospect of this topic. Especially some of these topics shall still be discussed during the next month, which is coming, which is April. At this time, let us welcome the gentlemen we have on panel tonight, including you out there. You are the #1 panelists tonight, and so you shall be using your phone to call us live or participate on WhatsApp or online. At this time, let us welcome Kikishi Kenneth. You are welcome to Crossviews tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator Mambo, and seize this opportunity to also extend my greetings to my co-panelists, co-patron, and to the numerous TV viewers of Royal TV who have been glued on the screens. I want to say good evening and special greetings to them. The Muslim community just ended their feast after 40 days of fasting. Yesterday was a Palm Sunday, which ushers in a special week called the Holy Week, where Christians are going to intensify their activities and preparations for Easter, which will end on Easter Sunday with the commemoration of the resurrection of Christ. It is expected that this end of month and the beginning of the new month is going to usher in a lot of hope, since the risen Christ. Muslims just celebrated the Barkat Salah, a lot of spirituality around. We hope that that's going to usher in more blessing to this great and loving country, Cameroon. Thank you.
And of course, it is a great and loving country, and that is why God loves this country so very much. It is one of the country, if I'm not mistaken, the only country in the world where we have problems, we have misunderstanding, we have battles, but we have a lot to eat and drink. That is Cameroon that we have, and we have that natural gift of settling our problems ourselves, not bringing external people. And that is why you see that all the problems we have, they are almost coming to an end, and one day God shall have to intervene. He has already intervened. That is why we find in Cameroon at this time, dear viewers, let us welcome Pope Bertrand, Engineer Pope Bertrand, who is also a socio-political analyst. You are welcome to Crossviews today.
Thank you, Mr. William. I always appreciate Royal TV for giving us an opportunity to be here, talk to ourselves, talk to Cameroonians. Without wasting much of the time, I extend my greetings warmest to my co-panelist Kikishi, and of course to you, the moderator, and to also say that I applaud the decision of the governor of the Southwest region for the ban he has put on some of these contraband drugs, which is playing a backset mine on our youngest population, our youthful population, and of course we best know that for every nation to survive, they have to have the strength of the youth, and these products do not meet the UPC code, that is the Universal Product Code. You see, they have been consumed in, these products are consumed in a way that, you see, the fabricators of these products do not measure up with the dosage one has to consume. These things are not being controlled, so that is why at times it surpasses your energy. It surpasses your energy in a way that you take overdose just because of measure in a can does not mean that it stands the Universal Product Code or the barcode, which means that probably you are consuming too much and the control is not even there. Probably maybe one could best do, but due to the anxiety, you know, the youth tend to consume this uncontrollably more than excess, and it tends to play a very harmful role on them, and thereby devastating or reducing our youthful age, our youthful population, on which the nation as a whole count on this youthful population for the growth of our vision. As our President Paul Biya, who just turned 41 years at the head of the CPDM, has always put it, that at the head of the CPDM party, rather, has always put it that 2025 is the emergence, and this emergence can come to reality when the youth are being left behind. So, to this, again, I applaud the decision of the governor of the South, Mr. Kabila. You have always been there, you are on the right seat, and you have been doing your job in the right direction. Thank you.
Yes, while we appreciate the administration, but there are some people, we know, we need to, although we will be discussing on this topic in the days to come, but there are some people who feel like, how come these drinks were approved, or how come some of these drinks cross our borders into the country when they have not met up the criteria? That's the first question people are asking. Then secondly, these drinks that are being banned, are they the only alcoholic drinks or drugs that maybe people are taking? That because we know very well that some of these drinks have been banned. It started in Tico, now in the regions and so on. So what's your take about that? Because there are some people who are confused that we still have very strong drinks that these youth take, although they have exaggerated some of these ones that are crossing into the country.
Well, you need to know that Cameroon has a long borderline with neighboring Nigeria, from right up north to extreme north to down south, and the porosity of the border, with very little technology to control the border, permits that even though some items or products are banned, it's difficult for our customs and other related services that like Ministry of Commerce and all the other related services, to actually put an eye or to water down to a certain minimum level border trafficking. And the issue of that justify why we will still have pockets of resistance or pockets of several drugs coming in or products coming in into the country because of the porosity of our border. Now the next thing is the actions that have been taken to ban these products have not been synchronized at all levels. You just talk about Tico, who's the authority in Tico. He bans it at Tico. The authority in Buya or the Southwest region now has come in now, like the shepherd, the overall shepherd, to ban it in the Southwest region. What is the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Commerce and other related services? What are they saying about it? Should it be are they consuming the Southwest region? I don't think so. So we need to have a holistic approach when we have products that are contraband products find themselves in our nation. I think that it is not the responsibility of every chef or the divisional officer within his jurisdiction, but rather a holistic approach whereby with justification that there was no license to import or no permission for these products to find themselves within Cameroon borders, they can ban it all over Cameroon, or that the ministry, though maybe it could have been authorized, but that in the Ministry of Health has already tested and proven that they are, they have, like Pope Bertrand was saying, health hazards to our youth, and so they can now take a holistic approach. Now, if you find it in one part of the country where it is not banned, it means that I can manage to get into that region, and then I traffic a small quantity and cross, and we still find itself here, though it is banned here. So we need to have a kind of holistic approach where interrelated services, after cross-examination and with a consultation of the Ministry of Health, can determine whether these products are good for the consumption of Cameroonians as a whole. Secondly, or lastly, we have had how legitimate are the decisions taken to ban a product in Cameroon. Sometimes it's already getting like 2 years or so. I heard that the consumption of shasha was banned in snacks, and it's just some weeks after, and the consumption has even grown bigger proportion than even before the ban. So now it is who took the decision? What actually governs the ban of a product in Cameroon, and which ministry is supposed to oversee the procedures for it to be taken away out of our shops or markets? Sometimes you will find that most of these contraband products have as godfathers big politicians who is a business that is feeding some politicians fat or some administrators very fat. And so a ban that will be shouted in the radio, a communique is issued by a minister or somebody from hierarchy or one high authority, will not be even respected.
But we call these authorities, we call them the excellency, we call them people of high caliber, and so on. How can they be doing all this?
No. The issue is that we have very unethical business practices in Cameroon that are not regularized by, where the only factor that drives us for business is the gain that we make from it. And so sometimes we become very unethical in our, the humane part of us is reduced for the money's sake. So to the extent that nobody cares about the harmful effect on the youths. Rather, since we have a government that we cry every day that youths have been left out, they are interested in, they don't care about bringing those products because they would rather want to stay in power with the justification that you see the number of junkies. You want to give a junkist a position of responsibility when you see the negative and adverse effect on youths. And so it puts us as a position where canvassing for a post of responsibility, you are going in with a minus because already you see the number of people that were supposed to rally behind you or that you claim that you are representing are all, drug addicts and who cannot actually be brought into positions of responsibility, and that justify why some of our old parents are still in power, because they realize that juvenile delinquency is so high, drug consumption, all sorts of negativities that it degrades or that reduces the integrity of the youth, and so justify why some people can keep positions in office or hold several positions in different offices for long, because youths in a majority, nonchalant and with a lot of deviant behavior that comes with drug consumption. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Anything to say on that? But we shall be discussing on this topic in the days ahead. There are a lot of worries. These drugs are being banned, these drinks are banned, but we still see them, and we don't know how these administrators are helping the youths, because just nearby us we have so many youths in hundreds who are taking this thing, and they know where these youths are, but nothing is being done. The other time we hear the women at Campaign Street had to march, I think, to your office. Yes, to the Human Rights Office. Then we also saw some women too from Kumba at one time march to your office because of all these drugs. Do you see what is really happening? What is really happening?
Well, Mr. Williams, I would say we have definitely, as the co-panelist Mr. Kikishi has earlier said, we have some lapses at the level of our borders, and even in areas where we cannot institute border checks. We still have footpath crossing to Nigeria, so it makes it very difficult for the administration. But there's something called administrative hygiene.
Okay.
That means there's a certain degree of screening that needs to be done in areas where we have ports or mini ports like Tikuwa, Limbe, Manfield, linking roads to Nigeria. We also have to applaud our internal system. We know that when such decisions are being dished out, units are being set up, units are being mounted up to do this, to carry out these checks. For example, if the governor of the Southwest has ordered such a communique, I believe that he must have passed the message down to the commissioners, the hierarchies that be in terms of security, to mount checkpoints where these drugs can be controlled. Yes, we cannot get it all. You can't rig it all at once, but that's why I use the word administrative hygiene, because it shouldn't be that somebody has tried to transport it on footpath on land, and then you, a police officer, you see these drugs, these contraband drugs, and you receive your bribe and say, after all, I'm not the one killing Cameroon. Cameroon is already bad. So that is why we use administrative hygiene to see that we have to save our youth. And another thing I look at a bigger picture. That's why I use the UPC code. Like Kikish was talking, there are other institutions that needs to come in. This is not just bound in this product. Take these products, go into the lab, check the content.
Okay.
Now, let me tell you, a businessman who has already canned out or canned maybe 10,000 of these pies will not open them and throw them and pour them on the ground or on the sea. He can rebrandish the product. So how do we save that? This is another area where this product can be rebrandished in another can, giving another name, and before you know it, tomorrow it starts circulating again. So that is you playing a dangerous trick on your government, but killing yourself at the back. And like I said, how do the Cameroon borders and the Nigeria border check this good? Nigeria is a bigger market center in
Africa.
Africa, yes. And they have this strength, this unanimous strength that they protect their own. That a businessman in Nigeria who is dealing with this, the Nigerian government cannot come out to tell that let his product just disappear like that and let it incur a very huge damage. So we also have to be very clever in their approach. And I heard that days ago, I think over the weekend, Friday or Saturday, some policemen went into the quarters and were trying to retrieve some of these harmful drugs, contraband drugs from the wholesalers, and it was a good approach. But I want us to plead to their consciences that they should be tolerant in a certain degree, because I don't think that it is not much on the product. It is not much on the retailer to retail these drugs, but rather the borders that are porous that have let the drugs to come in. So the approach to be a little bit holistic. Let me borrow the word from the key. Is in a way that they carry out their
functions.
Okay.
Okay, dear viewers, but we should be warned, especially the young men and women, that when a government official, a statesman, passes maybe a decree, says something, it stands. It is only when something has happened that is where you know that that law is existing. So when a mayor, maybe a mayor, a DO, SDO, governor, minister, the president, or whosoever who has that prerogative, who has that immunity, who has that right to pass a decree, when that person does it, know that it stands and it holds. When one day you'll be caught, that's when you know that it stands as a law. So we need to be very careful. Yes, just summarize on that, they will take the next.
Yeah, once a decree or a communique from higher instance like the governor is made known to the public, what we don't know is the application mechanism.
Okay.
What are the procedures? Because like Bertrand was saying, in Boya we noticed that the law enforcement officials were in charge of enforcing that governor's orders, which are already showing some pitfalls, and which we can, as a human rights defender, we want to decry all those things. We think that there's a ministry that is actually in charge of products that are commercialized in Cameroon, and so if the governor's order, governor has passed an order for ban, the Ministry of Commerce or the Delegation of Commerce should be the one to enforce it with the assistance of the law enforcement officials.
Okay.
Now, when you get into a store and you meet the tramadol, you meet all the contraband, wake up or whatever the names are, and then you go behind the counter and take all of them, and then you don't have a notification of the quantities that you took from the store, what report are you going to give to the hierarchy? How much quantity of this did you confiscate? Because another thing is, if the wrong procedures are used, if I come to seize your goods because they are contraband, and I present you a notification from hierarchy giving me the orders to do what I'm doing, the next thing is that it should be how accountable are you, the person executing the orders, to the receptive end about the quantities that were seized? If not, we'll still find the drugs circulating now in another, will create another, they will take them away from the store. A certain small quantity, minimal quantity will be declared without verification. But if somebody in the store, a store seller has to sign in those and the quantities that were made, that they made in her store or his store, and when you go to submit the quantities to hierarchy for destruction, we will be able to account for the several cartons that we are expecting. Just like the fuel, when fuel was still, the illegal sales of fuel was still an issue, sometimes they will seize several thousands of liters and then, or barrels, and then present just 1/10 and burn them, and then before you know it, the other one still passes and enters the market and continues to destroy our youth. Now, you guys raised an issue of several drug cartels, let me call it that way, in Boya, where we know that these are days where these things are consumed. And in those neighborhoods, you find a police vehicle that enters there twice or thrice a week, and the activities still continue. What do you tell about that kind of situation? That though, despite the fact that the police and other law enforcement officials, they get to those cartels every day,
yes.
the activity has never stopped. They used to gather there in their numbers, and they still come out with dark eyes, meaning that the consumption is there. So there's some business that goes on. Drug is not only about Cameroon, but drug, the story, the history behind drug consumption, law enforcement, it has a multiplier effect everywhere, even with the eyes of the law enforcement, or they are present in those areas. So there's a lot of business in drugs that we need to really check, to some ethical,
Okay.
The level of impunity within the law enforcement system too is, it can have a ramification on drug consumption. Normally, these people pass, they meet those guys. If they are caught the same day, 2 days after they are released, and they go back to the same area. Now, once you catch somebody carrying out an activity which is illegal 1, 2, 3 times, why should you still leave that person in the community to continue to destroy? It means that there's some business that is, that they know, that they do business together, and they only can even catch them when they don't pay their taxes. Simple.
Okay, at this time, dear viewers, as we said, we are doing a retrospect of the topics that we discussed this March. We shall surely be doing it today and next program, because there are many before we continue new programs. For the next one we have here is the conflict that was between the ICT University and the University of Boya. We know the outings of Professor Mbarika, and you know how the Minister of Higher Education had to intervene, and thank God, as one of my colleagues will say, thank God there is God. The Minister of Higher Education had to intervene and other things. We hear the professor had to apologize, and everything is fine now.
Yeah, I did say on this platform, when we had a whole program that was dedicated to the crisis between ICT University and the University of Boya, I did say that personally, I know Professor Marika Victor so well. We've schooled together, classmate.
Yes,
and
please.
And I said that he was coming from a very humble background, and I know that. And I already said here that I know that he will apologize.
Yes, let me.
No matter the justification.
You continue, just to get to our viewers. The problem was, or is, that the University of Boya is a mentor university to the ICT University, and so there were some misunderstanding as far as mentoring some of the maybe graduates, or giving out certificates and mentoring some of the subjects and so on. And so the University of Boya claimed that they had no agreements in some of what the ICT University wanted the University of Boya to do, especially at the level of PhD, if I'm not forgotten. And so it was like a kind of misunderstanding between the two institutions that brought out the outing of Professor Mbarika. We don't want to start replaying all those videos, so we shall be talking just briefly on that. But there is total peace now, reconciliation, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, I think that there were several authorities, from high-ranking authorities, that intervened to see that matter. When a child cries out, they say don't wash your dirty linen in public.
Yes.
But if you see a child who cries out and goes out to the public to cry, no matter the manner might be wrong, but it means that there's something. They say there's no smoke without fire.
Okay.
And so there was a problem that needed a diplomatic solution, and maybe his media outburst was not was seen like disrespect for another senior authority who is like a father to him, or to an institution that is a godfather to his own institution. So but however, like you said, the finality is that in Cameroon, you said something about Cameroonians when they have conflict, they always settle out there. They know how to make peace and settle out their things. If there's any issue within that can portray a bad image of our nation, I think the first thing is that we always try to handle it, and that is what has been done. So there's no big story again to talk about and to thank
the Minister of Higher
the
Education,
Minister of Higher Education,
University of Boya,
University of Boya authorities for being receptive and accepting, the humble apology that was made by Professor Barika Victor, and that for the anything that has to hinder, to disturb the youths of Cameroon from progressing, because no matter what small quantity you may say that his university is handling, but at least it was going to disturb the future of some young Cameroonians, and it was timely that the minister intervened. Let me tell you a story some years back. While I was a student in the University of Yaoundé 1, there was a landlord in the popular Bonamosadi whose method of repression to get his rents paid was that he comes and remove all the doors of all who are paying him rents. So 5 a.m., the minister then was the rector of Yaoundé University. I'm talking about Professor Jacques Famengo, came right to Bonamosadi as early as 5 a.m. And this was a statement in front of me. I was standing very close to him. He told the landlord that no. You see, each time that students are disturbed, the head of state can do something that he can put. That if the head of state just gets it that this is what happened, you sack him, the minister, because the head of state takes a lot of they used to him and hold a central position. And so when students can, you do this kind of thing to students, you are calling. It means that you want us to be dismissed from.
Because the youthful population is the foundation of every country.
Each time that you find, if you are in this kind of situation, run to my office, knock the office. Let's discuss how to handle this situation. You see, so it means that the minister's intervention is still based on this. This story that I'm telling is more than it's almost like 20 or
20 years or
20 years or so. And if he could still act in this way based on the conflict at the university, UB authorities versus ICC, it means that they used to hold that central position in the hearts of the system, even if it is not visible based on maybe recruitments or whatever positions they hold, but it shows the concern that they have. Yes, thank you.
Now, I know you followed up that outing, and some people feel that the outing of Professor Mbarika was like a professional mourner for all. That there are so many other universities that are maybe having the same cry, but thank God, it's like things are coming to normal. Some problems have been identified and they are being solved.
Yes, my moderator, just a little problem I have with our journalists in Cameroon is the way they try to coil everything to look. They try to make the puzzle look very easy, soft, and not striking. But whereas we have real things to discuss about. When you look at the problem between the ICT university and the university, the mother university, the mentorship university, the University of Boya. In Cameroon, there is a frame of a mentor university over a private university. And of course, it's to provide legal backing, accreditations, and quality assurance to private university. The terms are clear. Professor Barika knows all this. But one thing I want to say on this platform is he is too schooled to say that he doesn't know some of these things. Let me remind us that and our viewers that in a twist, the PhD program that was recently uplifted to roll again from the normal traditional speech of our president is a kind of temporary solution to a certain extent. So the University of Boya haven't looked at the coiling and realized that the university, the ICT university, probably the number of candidates that have been mapped out. As like I tell you, we have a very intelligent unit in Cameroon. Maybe they have mapped out that, okay, we want 10,000. At least, let me just go 1,000 PhD students enrollment. And they've already shared this number to all the state universities. And no matter the capacity, the readiness capacity of the ICT university, you cannot force your way into the melee where you have a mother university which is giving you the restrictions. And of course, as a mentoring means growing. If you accept that you have a father, you should be honest and obedient enough to listen, to obey.
But even if the father is wrong, is that what you're saying?
In the African context, fathers are rarely being wrong. To be honest with you. And let me continue. And let me continue.
In the Bible context, you shouldn't accept.
Mr. William, let me press on time. And let's continue by saying that. I give my heart to Prof. Baraga because he is an IT specialist and he used the social media very well to blow the trumpet of his school that hey, I'm ready.
A man of 68 pages of
a CV. So he used the social media space to announce himself that next time when this cake is being shared, let me be among. That was just a way. That was just an outing way to come out and say, oh, I because he did not say he's totally against the mentorship University of Boya.
He talked also about the kind of money that
hello, let me learn my monitor. Yes. He did not accuse the University of Boya in total.
Yes.
Rather, he said he has a problem with some personal with some personalities of the University of Boya. Let's not wage the war and rig it. His statement was directed to some particular individuals. And if you observe the social media space at that particular point, there was one professor, I don't want to call names, who came out and denounced that he does not have any problem with ICT University or with the professor.
And I requested an interview with that professor.
Okay.
He refused, and that's the difficulties. Those are some of the difficulties we journalists face, because we wanted to bring out certain things that will solve this problem.
So let me continue by saying that again, like I said, it's unfortunate that it's a young man, 65-page CV, and yet he's not green. And yet he's not green, but he had the wisdom. Like I said, he's a professor, he's a scholar. He still had the wisdom to say, no, hierarchy is hierarchy. He had to calm down himself, comport himself, and submitted the needed apology. That was from the above authority, and of course from the minister in place to sanction others. The Minister of Higher Education who came out as a holy dog to bully the situation, and the situation was laid to perfect rest.
And of course, the situation has been laid to rest, and we thank God that but the outing brought out so many lapses, and I think they shall be looking at these lapses to make sure that it is in good of the students and the institutions that are concerned and other institutions. At this time, KK, let us look at the Pope's visit, although we still have to discuss it because we are just nearby the door of the date for the arrival of the Pope, which is in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks time, if I'm not mistaken. Now, we also discussed this March, the visit of the Pope when it was announced, and we saw to it that so many committees have been formed and so many write-ups or maybe messages to the Pope to come and solve the problems in Cameroon, problems that we don't know if we can solve it, but the Pope will come and solve. And what do you have to say about this announcement that came up of the Pope's visit?
Well, like I said, Pope Leo XIV is the head of the Roman Catholic Church. He's also the head of state, the Vatican State. And so he is coming to Cameroon in his dual capacity as a head of state and a religious leader or man of God. I said that since the crisis in Cameroon started, we have had several men of God who came in to pray for this land, to bless this land to liberate us from the hands of adverse spiritual bondage, so as to usher in peace. And so within this crisis, we have not we are having a pope visiting us for the first time, and I think that the expectations
for the
are
first
high.
time. We mean Pope Leo is coming for the first time.
I'm saying since the crisis started in the north.
Okay. The
This is
recent
the first time
crisis.
a
The
pope
recent
is
crisis.
going
You
to
are right.
Cameroon
Yeah.
within the crisis,
Yes.
even the crisis in the north.
Yeah. Right.
So it's also his first official visit to Africa as a whole, and then Cameroon is one of those countries that have so blessed. You see, we started talking in this platform, talking about how blessed Cameroon is, and you even said that Cameroon is one of the most blessed countries in the world. So just imagine that he's coming to Africa for the first time, and Cameroon is among the countries he's visiting. We see sometimes we underlook, we water down the value that this country has in the world. Because if the African continent is where life is going to be, it generates a lot of hope for the future. Africa, natural resources generates a lot of hope. Then Africa is positioning itself as the center of the world tomorrow. Sometimes they say that the center of the world was in Greek, and so, in Athens or wherever, where some people said civilization started or whatever. Today, if Cameroon is among the first, there is a big implication to this country that we should sit up and start to do things. So, but what are the expectations from the Pope's visit, like you ask?
Yeah.
The Pope's visit is coming when our peace building efforts are still underway, and the common man thinks that a man of God coming in, will talk some conscience talk with the members of government, or with the government, with the head of state and his members, to strengthen, change the strategies. And a man of God who wants to talk dialogue will not be talking exclusive dialogue. Will obviously be talking about inclusive dialogue, and that will not surprise me that the Supreme Court has ordered for the Naira 9 again. That the decision that was taken to give them life.
Yeah, we shall be talking.
So no. I am talking in line with the Pope's visit, and in line with the Pope's visit. Who cannot come if we are thinking that none of us know the agenda why he's coming? But we are just saying that if at all we have hopes that the dialogues, he's coming to also help Cameroon to mediate so as to find peace, then it must be inclusive, where all the protagonists, the separatist guys and government and other people, where every Cameroon will sit on the same platform and discuss the way forward, how to bring peace and make Cameroon a greater nation that it is, and to find itself back in economically. If you know how this crisis has affected us economically, you see, for instance, the postponement of the elections is linked to economic crisis, that the government do not have money.
That leads me to one of the questions. Okay. There are some people who feel that this kind of visit is coming to drain the country financially.
Well, like I said some time back when we were talking about development in this country, and I said that the Pope is going to visit 3 towns in Cameroon.
Yeah.
He's going to visit Yaoundé, Douala, and Bamenda. And I came from Bamenda some weeks back, or almost a month now, a month and some weeks. And I told you that the level of infrastructural development in Bamenda beats your imagination if you are not going to see what is happening there. Yeah. Is the Pope going to carry those routes and go back to Vatican City with them? Douala is also in chantier. We are trying to finish up some infrastructure. Yaoundé the same. You saw last week where a minister was almost broke the door of the city council to make sure that work is going on, because we have an August 1st. So each time, let me tell you, in your house when you have an August visitor, you go an extra mile to provide more food and some nice wine and some nice whiskey. Is that what you call taking away money from that? Is going to cost us so much money? Look at what is being done. When the head of state was visiting Garwa, or when he went for his last campaign, There was so much expenditure that was made there, but there are some things that you still go and find there, that some roads, some potholes were filled, and because of the head of state was coming. Is that the reason why the head of state do not visit all regions regularly? No. Instead, those kind of August guests should be coming in to usher in infrastructural development. If it is the president of America coming tomorrow, Cameroon will still go to see that all corners are clean, put in sanitation, hygiene, reinforce their, make sure that our military guys are well equipped and looking neater than they were before. So if the money is spent, you not be looking at money that if is there an envelope that money will be carried and given to the Pope to take. Sometimes the men of God who came here, I heard they carried money in back. How many people are for blessings of 10 million? 10,000 people came out. How many people are for blessings? Nobody looked into that too. But that was money laundering. So if the Pope is coming and roots are tight, that will remain in Douala, Yaoundé, and Bapsam and Bamenda. What is the issue? I've just told you that each time you have an August case, you cook some nice food and you share.
You are a staunch Roman Catholic, and I understand you belong in one of those structures, devoted Roman Catholic, of course.
Yeah.
And if the Pope comes, surely he has to kiss the ground of Cameroon and perform some spiritual rituals. That is. Now, how holy is Cameroon going to be more than what it is now, after all the so-called men of God have come from other countries, including the ones in Cameroon?
Okay, you realize that you are talking about Cameroon having this heart, forgiving heart, and always trying to commune together. Every time that a man of God has come to Cameroon, I don't want to make a borderline between Pentecostal, other denominations, but I want to say that every time that a great man touched this soil in the name of a man of God,
yes,
it is the concern of all Cameroonians to communion.
And at least there must be a change.
There has always been a change.
Yes.
So it is not like because I'm a Catholic, I am now defending my position as a Catholic, as a committed Catholic, but I am saying that even other men of God that have touched the soil of Cameroon, popular men of God that have touched the soil, they did not leave us naked, but there were some blessings. And that is why you see that interreligious communication, or we are always together. You find each time that the bishop of Boya is doing something in the cathedral, all the imams in town here are always there. Yeah. We are a people that we don't have this religious borders, and that is why this priesthood do not concern only Catholic. It concerns everybody, because that is how that is the way God acts in Cameroon. Yeah. The way God has implanted a seed of love in Cameroonians, that interreligious gatherings, and we commune together at all times, and it will not be different when the Pope will come. We still see the Muslim community, the Pentecostal, and the Baptist. They will see all of them, and everybody will be around the visit. That is how Cameroon has been blessed. That's so wonderful, a country that has been blessed.
Okay, let me come to Pope Bertrand, Engineer Pope Bertrand. Maybe let me have your reaction to this. As he said, everybody will be involved, and so on. Dance groups. I don't know if maybe we'll have the Malay also and other things. But now, if we look at these visits of the Pope, the kind of preparation that is ongoing, it really shows that there's a lot that the Pope is coming to live here. And do you see him maybe influencing some decisions at the level of the state, at the level of the government, of maybe especially the idea of youthful exorbitant, and maybe, I don't know, some people put it ancestral rulers or whatsoever? How do you size up this?
Well, Mr. William, I picked two things from my co-panelist, which of course you already told him directly that he's a staunch Catholic, and it will weigh on him for him to deny that. And when you read his lips, he does no other thing but at least try to draw the line. because that's a discipline.
Okay.
Again, Cameroonians have never had a problem communing together. That's not a problem of Cameroonians.
Okay.
Communing together, we are stylish. We know how to do it. And again, the second thing I pick from him is let us come out of this phobia that it is when somebody is visiting you that you prepare.
Okay, good.
What if you are visiting me, Bills? You tell me that Pope of, oh yeah, of course I'm Pope Petra, you know that. My viewers, thank you. If you say Pope will be visiting your house tomorrow, okay, that is when I'm going to start cleaning my yard. Okay, then somebody say, oh, I say, hey, okay, I have to clean my yard, then go back, maybe cross the road, get Omo to come back and scrub my floor. On coming back, I have an injury. It means you come and meet a dirty home.
Okay.
You get it?
Yeah.
So that is not this.
And there are so many injuries. We saw the ministers.
This is one thing I tell us Cameroonians, that emergency is near. You know, when President Pobia said emergency, most people did not see into the vision, but they hurriedly read the scripts and endorse the laws. But it takes more than what we understand about that.
Okay.
You see, the readiness of every country must be planned and not pushed in a haste or influenced by the visit of a particular person. And for us to emerge by 2035, it is not incoming of personalities that will pave our industrial mind. Okay. It's not visiting that will, yes, our development mentality. See, the Pope is coming to Cameroon. Well, you should know that the Pope is coming to Cameroon. First, the type of budget, he dodged the area of the budget by saying that people come and carry money and go. I bet you our audience, if you take out your calculator, for a Pope to visit any country is $55 million US. You can imagine just that. And it's not the Vatican City spending that money alone. It means that it is a 50-50 game. So let us be very kind. And you know, as Cameroonians, we have people like very good professors who can always take a headline and rebrandish it. They say it's coming for spiritual encouragement and national reconciliation. If you put up a message like this, that the Pope, whose origin is in America and his own country of origin is into active war right now, and there was a summit in America which he turned down to attend. Rather, he's coming to Cameroon to water down the Cameroonian for reconciliation. Man, let us think out of the box. Mr. William, let me press on time. Mr. Williams, let me press on time.
Yes, before you come, not to forget that point. Even in the Bible, those who welcome Jesus gained something. So if you welcome, it doesn't mean there's a problem in America, but if Cameroon wants to welcome Africa wants to welcome, is it not a good thing?
Yes. Let me continue. You know, Williams, let us be realistic. When you look at it, say it's coming for national reconciliation, yes, then what did Cameroonians do at the dialogue? What do we do? Okay. What actually do we do at the dialogue? So there's a dialogue at the dialogue. Also, or do we agree that we had a monologue instead of a dialogue, and now the Pope is coming to give us a reconciliation? Because these were the ingredients that were put up in place to spice up the dialogue that happened. And now, if you are coming to circle it that the Pope is coming for national reconciliation, it means that even the special status that was given to Anglophones, it was just to water down the quest of the people, because they know that little or nothing was done, and that is why they are putting on the Holy Papa that he can do it, and do it well. Okay. And you see, this is where we begin to have problems, because we are not taking our nation serious. We are not taking our nation serious, because look, when you have a problems, we have a problem. The root cause. We Anglophones Cameroonians, we are always said the root cause is better than cosmetic solution. Okay. And mind you, the Holy One, the Pope in his holy garment, is coming here to. He will do some holy rituals. Yeah. He will appease. He will intercede for heaven to look upon Cameroon with mercy. But the root cause of the problem can only be nailed and bent by Cameroonians. Let us not give our heart for other people to dust. It will not give us lasting solutions.
So you are saying that Cameroonians, we have our own part to play before God will intervene.
And that is how it is. Okay. And that is how it is. We cannot deny that. Okay, let me ask you, the last Pope that visited was in 1985. He visited 4 towns, namely Yaoundé, Douala, Garoua, and Bamenda.
Not the last, the first.
The first, I said the first Pope that ever visited was in 1985. He visited 4 regions. You know, Douala, Bamenda. That's to tell you that, of course, Cameroon is a holy land. No matter that, we are the administrative arm has not have some greedy minds who are plunging the country into a different direction than the original manuscript that was written for the country. We have to all acknowledge this. If you see the Pope, when you count around the world, just around us Africans, there are other African countries that even president, top president have not visited. But I believe to tell you that top president, all, including Queen Elizabeth, have stepped foot in this country. So that's to tell you that Cameroon is a peaceful place. But we still have to fine-tune this country. And by the time we fine-tune the country and put it on the ruling barracks, we'll enjoy the country, all of us. And we won't be cajoling Cameroonians. Because this is where I get so upset at times. The people who have the offices feel that they can speak grammar and we succumb and laugh and say, hey, a bigger word has been used. No, Cameroonians are too intelligent for that. If you go around Africa, you realize that Cameroonian is a risk around the seat most cultured, civilized, and educated amongst I think the 54 countries in Africa. So let us talk man to man in Cameroon. When you look at a Cameroonian, even if it's a child going to nursing school, you look at his uniform, the way he's dressed, you know that this is an intelligent child. He must not speak, he must not solve math equation, but his smart look tells you that he's a Cameroonian and he's a smart child. So if the Pope is coming to Cameroon, yes, we all know that he's not coming in vain. But as Kikishi Kenny Riley said, we are into not only Baron's crisis where we hear sounds of gun, we are into high crime, we are into drugs, we are into poverty and embezzlement and mismanagement. And if Cameroon and the Vatican is sharing $55 million, that's just to tell you that if they have pity on us, they will be paying $30 billion and we'll be paying $25 billion. That is money that with his coming or without his coming will tie a lot of roads. And as Cameroonians, we will apply on this road. So we will reduce the rate of accidents, we will enjoy our own country, and we will leave a legacy for our children to come. And the youth will be happy with the generation ahead of them. I drop my motto.
There is a lot for Pope Bertrand to say, especially as Pope Leo has to visit. And so, Pope Bertrand, you shall still have to come on this platform to talk about Pope Leo, who will be coming. But we are just retrospecting the topics we discussed during this match. Maybe you have something to say on that before we go to the next.
You remember that must have noticed that we have highlighted on just one of the casket that of the 2 caskets that he is carrying, the spiritual casket. We have not talked about the Pope as a president and the diplomatic value of a visit between a state and another state. No. I just want to highlight that the spiritual connotation may have prompted Pope Bertrand to see that it is a costly visit. Yeah, he's forgetting that he's a head of state coming to visit another state, and that for diplomatic reason, people grow because of exchange, technological exchange, and all what you have. Diplomacy plays a very key role in governance. It plays a very key role in development. And so when you have, and if somebody is coming to discuss business, because diplomacy is business, and you cannot water it down to millions that will be lost because you don't know how much will be gained. Remember that for us to be so friendly or to have a good face at the level of Bretton Woods institutions, they also need references from when Cameroon wants to tender in for a bid somewhere, whether to get money or whatever. He needs to people to reference him. If you have a bad diplomatic face with all other nations, nobody will give you a reference. Just like you're going to look for a job, you're asking your lecturer from the University of Lagos in Nigeria that where he did engineering, that you need, he should give you a reference to be able to get a job into this ICT or engineering company. That is how countries also need those. And that's why we have to maintain good diplomatic relations. So don't look at the cost of a visit of a pope who is the head of state of a country and what Cameroon stands to gain. And maybe you have not known the role of the church. Church, when I say church, I'm not talking about the role of the Catholic Church. I'm talking about the church. Whether it is in Islam or whatever. They have a role that they play in the growth of development, which is very vital. So you cannot water a visit of a head of state to another country to spending money. If not, then you have even table a bill. You have even table a bill somewhere against the head of state of Cameroon because he has been visiting several countries severally.
Okay, at this time, let us get to the next topic that we discussed this March. We also talked about the March session of Parliament that is still ongoing, and we discussed on it, and we discussed on the things that are at stakes. We discussed about the change at the hem of the Parliament, that is the upper and lower houses of Parliament. We have the Senate and the National Assembly that makes up the Parliament. We discussed on this, and we saw that a great change came to at the top of the two houses, and we saw some other changes that we still await. But what's your take about the fact that after 30 years, after 3 decades where we had Kabaye Jibril at the National Assembly, and suddenly there was a bombshell on all Cameroonians, let me put it that way, that a new person has come. It's Honorable Datuo.
Cameroonians have been clamoring for change. And the first thing is that we salute change. The next thing is, how did the change come? What the value? The way the change comes, does it show value to our democratic principle? Remember that there was voting. Before the voting, there was nomination. And only one candidate was nominated. The fact that at this age of 41 years, the CPDM can still come every month, every year, when during the March session, they have to elect a new bureau, and that only one person for the past 30 years since Kabaye came into power was nominated within the 30 years that he was there. It means that there's a problem with our democracy. Even we would have loved to see somebody stand up and say, okay, you have nominated Kabaye, me, I am nominating of the same party for at least for a platform of democracy to show the growth of the CPDM.
Maybe they saw him trustworthy.
We are going to get into the 41st anniversary of the CPDM.
Yes.
But I want to just to make my stance clear here, that as long as the CPDM at 41, for the past years that they have been, every year that they sit in Parliament session, in my session of Parliament, where they have to vote in new bureaus every year. For the past years, they always have just one nomination, shows that our democracy is still very limping, because it would have given a chance for people to compete. So it is what they call elections at the National Assembly is not election.
But the chance was given.
And so I was asking,
just a lone candidate came up.
No, the lone candidate came up because in the party line, there is no room for a second candidate. If you dare put your hand and say you are nominating Pope Bertrand of the same party to contest against the person that was voted, you will be excluded from the party, because it doesn't. They will just deny it flat. You remember the day that Fonka Sham Lawrence was voted out. When they came in, he knew that he was going to be the person, and then somebody just said, okay, a proposed candidate, and they called who? Kawaii. Did somebody come in again with a signature? No. So that is
it happened like that for the past 30 years.
That is how the parties, the CPP, have stifled democracy even within itself. We're not even talking about leaving room for an opposition party to candidate, but we're talking about even within the party that there's no democracy. You can, I don't know, even among themselves, I think there's nobody who can argue this fact. Thank you.
Okay, let me come to you, Pobetran. Let me have your reaction. At least after 30 years and after maybe almost 15 years at the Senate, we have some new people. And the idea behind it, you know, they keep on declaring them youths, you know. They are just 60s, in their 60s. And so we've been talking of vibrant, strong young people coming up. And the President of the Republic promised during his address on the 10th of February to the youths that maybe younger people will be coming up to take over the old, and so we've started seeing it.
Yeah, if that is your question, Mr. William, yes, we've started seeing it. For no doubt, for no other reason. It was a massive blow. It was a massive change. You know, when you become so used to your office, and then you know they are the Lord of the Ring, or you are the tiger in the tribe of Judah, and no one can move you, and you are taken by storm. Maybe it's maybe like Kikishi was saying, maybe it's a political structure from the ruling party. And now what Cameroonians are asking is what is the effect? What is going to change? Because we are not interested in seeing new faces. We are interested in the movement, in the developmental process, in the political, in the to how we can institute political hygiene into our political system, to make you to know that, because some of these leaders, even at the level of parliamentarians, our parliamentarians, they know that they are the elites, and the common people, the local people are supposed to listen to them, whereas it is the reverse. It happens right in our communities, where as a parliamentarian you have to serve your people, but the way the graph has been plotted up there, it is being plotted in the negative direction. You see, our politicians have to come, like Honorable Weber said, and I go back to respect his word. He said that he is a servant of his people, and he has the right, if an SDO has wrongly detained his people, he has the right to go there and remove them. But if you mirror this to other nations, you will see where politicians will tell that, oh, I need to call the commissioner of this, I need to find out what happened. And again, for those who have been able to do it right, we have seen our elites, some of them in the northwest, some of them in the southwest, where I closely watch, coming up to liberate their people. We saw the other time where a senator, a senator from Chico, when boys were arrested and brought up here, Kikishi will differ with me if I'm lying. He marched up with the people. That is how it should be. And without calling names again, I applaud his move, and that is the sense of which the people voted you, and that it is upon these actions that your mandate will be renewed. Because some of these elites believe that my mandate is not renewed by the people, but it is renewed by the system. And our system, the system has proven to be that in some particular corners. So now that we are beginning to have an overall system from inside, we applaud the move, and we also say that let it apply to all. Let it apply to all. It should not just apply in that house. When it applies to all, let it leave. That is a house that has the energy. That is why when you see a parliamentary session is holding, ministers come there, and the parliamentarians have the right to bring the ministers to book, to question them, and they have to mount the podium to give to respond to the answers to the question that will be asked. And at times over the years, I've been wondering if actually before coming before coming, the question we already asked, because you see the minister come there, they speak in a very nice, smiling way. It's like the question was already served to them. They don't speak in panic. They don't speak as if they owe the people and they are failing in their duties. They come there and they give very brave, lofty, and faultless speeches.
Okay,
and
now
we take it
how
back
do you
home.
look at the promises, or one of the promises made by the President of the Republic, of the youths and women take over? And now some people describe these people who have come at the helm of the parliament. Now at the Senate, we have the new president Abubakari Abdullahi, who is 64. Then if we look at the National Assembly, we also have Teodo Datuo, who has come up, who is also about 65 years. So do you see it match with the promise of the head of state for youths or young people and vibrant to take over?
Mr. Will, Mr. Bills, my moderator, laws are universal, and the last time I checked, a Cameroonian youth is 35 years old.
Okay.
So, if you are 60, you are no longer a youth. You may have the energy level, you may have the knowledge, but you are no longer a youth.
Okay.
Now, before I come back to that, thank you very much. You best know I'm an engineer, I'm an entrepreneur, and I've also met a lot of young Cameroonian entrepreneurs, especially when we go to seminars.
Okay.
And the cry is, can the head of state stand out one day and said that all youth should register their businesses, and as of the date of registering, you have 10 years tax free? That is you now bringing the youth in.
But he has been doing that, and he has given other privileges.
No.
50 billion that he recently gave. He has been reducing taxes in other areas to make sure that the
okay, that is where we say that. That's where we say that our rapid decentralization is not rapid enough.
Okay.
Because when the president makes these speeches, they follow up his poor.
Okay.
Yes, because ignorant Cameroonians who don't want to also get enlightened, who don't want to attend conferences, who don't want to attend council session, they will still have people who come and squeeze them to pay some of these dues.
Okay.
You will hear sanitation, you will hear this, that. There are so many of them I can't just recall because I'm focused as per your question. What I'm saying is, the youths, as youths, if you ask me, there's one minister who got it at the helm of service at 29 years. And if you challenge me, I'll call his name. That's youth. And that is youth coming into play.
President Pobia himself entered the government at a very young age, in his 20s.
I stand to be differed by Kikishi, because I see him shaking his head. Kikishi Kenneth, when the Philemon Young get into the government, he was real young.
Yeah.
So what happens that Cameroonian youth cannot get into? Cameroonian youth below 35 cannot be in some of this area.
To tell you, Cameroon is more complicated now.
Cameroon is not. What's the nature of complicated?
Engaged in drugs.
Dear viewers who are looking at the mass session of Parliament at the helm, if nothing to say, they will go to the next topic. We just link it, because if we talk of Parliament, we talk CPDM, and at this time we have the CPDM 41st anniversary that was recently celebrated, and 41 years of the CPDM from CNU to CPDM 1985. KK.
I will start with a little bit of worry about the extension of the mandate of the municipal and parliamentary.
Okay, you want to go back to the,
I just want to question the constitutional legality, and then the democratic legitimacy of that kind of actions. The reason, the constraints that the head of state raised for that bill to be passed was based on finances, based on logistics, and also coming out with the issue of the number of elections that could not hold within this period because of so and so. And you begin to ask yourself that when the law that made it constitutional, that after this term of office, after 5 years an election should hold, is it at the neck of the election that they start looking for money to prepare the election, or it waters down our democratic legitimacy sometimes, because these people, their mandate were extended to from
December. It has been extended to December
until another December. Is costly.
Could it be that the finances,
the cost of keeping them for this number of months can even be more costly than running an election? So that is just a question.
But could it be that the finances have been maybe transferred to the visit of the Pope?
That cannot be a question, because if the finances are transferred, it means that it's a violation of the Constitution.
Okay.
Because the budget lines in government, in governance, you don't take different budget lines except for emergency.
That's mismanagement.
Yeah, that's mismanagement.
Okay.
It's inappropriate that you talk about postponing an election that is constitutional, and you're comparing it with somebody.
But the law gives the prerogative to the head of state and the parliament to do that.
We're not refusing what the law says, but we are just saying that those are prerogatives that make that also makes promote illegitimacy and illegality within the ranks of the government. You have been given the power to act ultra-virus. It means that you're acting against the very law that says that Cameroonians were supposed, these people have a mandate of 5 years.
Yeah.
So the justification is there.
But their clause is there that in case, yes, their clause is there.
Can go in and go out, and it makes our democracy illegitimate. That's what I'm saying. The president should not on his own just take a decision, and there are youths that are coming to take over. So
but do you
the undertone and the bar stories, the stories that we get from the bars, is that because of the presidential election that took place last year, government suffered, in quotes, don't say that I said that they lost the election. They said government suffered kind of defeat, which now they need to restructure and scout our strategies to be able to bounce back, because the enthusiasm that was ushered in the political parties, opposition political parties, if they organize an election now, probably they have the fear that that same enthusiasm, that voter apathy that had been killed, and the mobilization of youth in favor of opposition parties could be in their disfavor, and which would mean that they will lose the house that makes them to govern us, which is the house of the parliament and the senate. So all those things are coming to indicate that it's out of bad faith, not because we don't have money. How can government say that they don't have money to hold election? That is this.
Okay.
Those kind of statements or utterances can even discredit investors, because an investor will never come to invest in a.
It is good you said it, that those kind of bar statement. Maybe after people have taken
bar statement. The official communique says that the constraints of organizing the reason for the postponing of the election is financial constraints.
Yes, so they gave financial constraints,
and the country can just as some years back, Mr. Moderator, you permit, Cameroon actually went and paved way for it to be classified as heavy indebted poor country. And because they knew that several billions were supposed to be given, it means that you market this country that we call the continent in a very cheap way that even discredits investors. Because if you are saying that you are a heavily indebted poor country, and until you want to join the heavily indebted poor country initiative, where monies will be given to you as a wretched country, then it cannot push. The image is too bad for investors, and that's why we are still dangling in serious poverty and
Okay, to conclude on that, I'll come back to you to like give what you think these new people at the helm of the parliament should do as innovations. Maybe things that we're expecting to be done in the past were not done, and maybe any other thing that they have to do. But let me come to Pope Bertrand. It's like you who are more interested in this topic. There's something we are waiting. They talked of a bill on the post of vice president to be introduced, and maybe new administrative units to be created, maybe new subdivisions, divisions, and so on, and the post of vice president.
Yeah, the post of a vice president to our nation is going to do us good. Our community are going to be expanded.
Yes.
Other good things are going to happen. What the public man is saying is that this post first that the post of a vice president should not come to appointment. Though the clause say that the clause that says that the vice president and the president are going to work in a uniform way, in a uniform approach during elections.
Okay.
So, but people of a different mindset also think that when you pay the piper, you dictate the tune. So if you appoint a vice president, definitely he's going to work in your line. And the public man thinks that the position of a vice president should come through voting, where all political parties, all political parties will put up their candidate, and they'll of course go through a universal suffrage to select whosoever will be the winner. That is the public man mindset opinion, which cannot be neglected. And secondly, when we cover the realities, as I've always used the word, the root cause, when we cover realities because we want to prepare, we want to be more ready. Like Kikichi said, I will not differ with him. The political blow that happened in the October polls. If I was the one, I will really need to take my time and work out a new strategy. Yeah. So the CPDM is just playing a game which they have the time.
But let me ask you.
Let me press on time.
Yes.
The CPDM is playing a game which they have nurtured, mastered for 41 years, and that's why they are celebrating in very loud tune. They have the money, they have the time, they have
good structure.
They have structure. That's the time they have. They have. So what? Like Ikishi was painting it with very beautiful colors as an artist, a political artist. Where is the institution that cross-check the excuses that they are giving that there's no money in the country? Where is the institution that checks that? Secondly, if they take the public man's opinion seriously, and it means that another election has to be organized for the post of the VP.
Yeah.
So just to remind you that this same post was scraped way back in history because they said that it was too costly to run, and during that time we had few ministers than what we have today. We had directors, few everything than what we have today.
Yeah.
I would like to say that yes, population increase will require that we have some of these things. We have to
revisit
the administrative structure, which is very essential. But again, let us not, like I said, let us not just bring some of these parties into play, some of these institutions into play, because you want to say that my country is well structured, but the activities are not going. I beg you to say how I wish, thanks to the Minister of Minister Ngongo at the end of the presidency. He's a young man. I also believe that let the VP have the type of energy he has, because, like I said, if it is a party structure or a party pre-structure program, they will just be turning in circles. Let it be that the structure reflects and pay attention to the common man's needs on the street. Let us give cosmetic
Okay,
frameworks.
Engineer Pope Bertrand, maybe with your spiritual foresightedness, do you foresee any hidden agenda or anything that facilitated this thing of creating the post of vice president that we are expecting that the bill has have been tabled?
I don't want to. We are just discussing our audience. I've gone through that text, but over the week I was a little bit busy. I'm not taking time to digest.
But do you foresee any reason for
no
facilitating this vice presidency to come?
The arm of the government is that arm that works slowly, but I can assure you it works efficiently.
Okay.
So whatever our parliamentarians, our senator, not just grey but real grey-haired men with wisdom, are plotting for Cameroon. I believe they're plotted in good faith, so that we Cameroonians, we also enjoy the fruit.
But you are somebody.
My moderator, I don't know if I'll be jumping to the 41 year.
No, I will be coming to that briefly. Do you have anything that you have to propose to the people at the helm of the parliament that should look like a change, so that people start seeing that the change did not come only the administrators, but at least other things are accompanying them?
Well, as long as the CPDM has the majority in Parliament and Senate, I don't expect anything good to come from them. I started by pointing out the fact that the President of the National Assembly and the President of the Senate were appointed and not elected. And I would like somebody to contradict what I say. And when you are appointed, you basically honor your hierarchy, and that explains why you will find that in Cameroon, somebody holds a post,
with research we see that there was election.
A vote folder after 10 years in government, when he resigns or when he has problems, that's when they bring out his balance sheet and tell you that he embezzled. So what do parliamentarians do? They are supposed to be those that oversee governance policies in Cameroon, that they are supposed to vote laws that you see the Article 66 that was passed in Parliament some years back. The president's prerogative has is under is in the presidency, and it's only by his prerogative that he will put it as pass it as a law for people to start checking, declaring their assets before they take over offices, so that they can be accountable or they can be punished based on the fact that they amass wealth that they cannot justify. So if Parliament has been sitting, and a Parliament that you cannot find a private bill being passed, only all the bills that pass come from the presidency, what are you expecting from them to do? That suddenly they should start putting a rope around their neck to kill themselves? No, I don't expect anything good from them, because that's the party hierarchy, that's party politics. That before every session they have to tell you to nominate Kenneth as the president of the National Assembly or whatever, and so you cannot violate those rules. So those are the same things that make them silent, and that would justify why parliamentarians are not accountable to their constituencies. These singular cases that we find around are done by people that have passion and energy to serve their people, not people that look at themselves as the appointees of the head of state. So
okay.
I don't expect anything better.
Let me just take one message here. Hello to the host and viewers of Crossviews on Royal TV. I want to highly commend the governor of the Southwest region for the timely and decisive move to crack down on the circulation of illicit drugs and contraband beverages. These toxic products, particularly substances like tramadol, and unregulated bitters pose a grave threat to the health and future of our youthful population. Protecting our youth is a collective responsibility. Therefore, I call upon all government stakeholders, security agencies and community leaders to join forces in this fight. Let us unite to sanitize our region and safeguard the well-being of Cameroon's next generation. I am Shea Leslie Rooney, Executive Director of Leslie Foundation. Okay. Then, building on the governor's recent directive to sweep our streets of harmful substances, we must also address the discipline of those tasked with this mission. We are calling on the government to strictly implement the 10 commandments of the police officer in Cameroon. It is disheartening and dangerous to see officers consuming alcohol or smoking while in uniform and on active duty. Such behavior undermines the very authority they represent and compromises public safety. Professionalism must be the bedrock of our security forces. For the war against drugs to succeed, our frontline officers must lead by example with integrity and sobriety. Okay. Please, I'll go through a few first before I read on air. Let us just take the last bend to this program. Let us take the CPDM anniversary that was celebrated, and maybe the postponement of the municipal, parliamentary election that has been sent to December. The CPDM just celebrated 41 years from March 24th, 1985 in Bamenda to present. At least is it high time we say congratulations to CPDM? Well structured, there has been development, people, intellectuals in the party, everything is just like the parties we have abroad.
With this, my moderator, you see, for I applaud you for relating Cameroon with abroad when it comes to our political landscape. The CPDM has been doing well so far. The word well can also go a long way. If you go a long way to expatiate on it, you know that to be well does not mean it's a safe place. For some people say for 41 years, the CPDM that was converted or rebaptized from its ancestral root of UPC, CNU rather. If you punch a calculator, you will see that if you join CNU, which was a party of the late President Amadou Ahidjo, and the current one of President Paul Biya, you will see that they have ruled Cameroon for 63 years today, and 63 years is 30 plus, and honestly, there are some areas where we applaud them.
That shows great efficiency.
And there are some areas where we are going to criticize them. Yes, for the schools, the mindset that President Paul Biya took over the staff of authority from Ahidjo in 1982, he has done a very good one when it comes to the education of Cameroonians. When a man is educated, crime wave reduces.
Okay.
So for that one, President Paul Biya has and his government and his structures and institutions have done well.
But how
we still have some areas where we always condemn the party when it comes to our road infrastructures, when it comes to ministers embezzling money, and they have been left in prisons with the same money, and we cry for money to run elections. Why don't you go to these people in the prison yard and recover the state budget they have embezzled over the years, and they will try to pilot and give this country a befitting future, which it all deserve. Still amongst them, we will not say that all of them are bad. We still have senators, ministers who stand for justice, who say this is A and B is B. They didn't stand in the place of a philosopher who sees white and can prove it to you that it's grey. I remember the Minister of Higher Secondary Education in Bamenda, and it went rampant and it went high on social media. The whole country was applauding her when he said, "Say it the way it is. These people are suffering. They don't have roads." And that's the CPTM person still challenging the system. And when you have critics in the system who criticize you, it's fine. You know, in administration, they tell you that, or in leadership, they tell you that when nobody criticizes your leadership, then you are not leading. You are making you are a clown in front of your staffs. You are joking with your staffs. So if among the CPTM people, we still have people who can come out and challenge the system, that is to tell the system that no matter what you have done, we can still do more. So the continuous shift of peck of President Paul Biya tells you that he has a lot for the Cameroonian people. You know, he came first with Grand Ambition. From Grand Ambition, he moved to another way, and from the other pillar shifting. Now we are at emergence, and that's to tell you that the Cameroon government has a resisting move.
Okay.
They have a continuous desire to keep serving the population.
Okay, how do you see the celebration 41 years? How do you size up the celebration now and yesteryears? There are some people who feel like the population that usually came out in the past is not like before, where you see, you know, thousands of militants, faithful militants, of course. There are some who feel that people are just coming there to flatter and maybe have some money for the day. After that, they remove their uniforms and go home. And so how do you size it as at now?
Williams, the size of a wedding ceremony does not justify the peace that will run at home. That's to tell you that to be patriotic to your party does not mean that they pay you off.
Okay.
One of the dimensions CPDM has been using, and a critical thinker myself will tell you that CPDM is buying militants.
Okay.
Because you won't go out on every celebration. You are sharing sardine, you are sharing bread. You reduce Cameroonian to a loaf of bread and a sardine, and I feel it's bad, it's shameful. And if you love your country, people have been resilient with SDF over the years. SDF has never given somebody a cube of Maggi. People turn up for Issa Chiroma, who lost the election by the verdicts of the CC. It did not pay anybody, and that is what patriotism means. And when you say the CPDM celebrated in colorful colors, then I asked you, how did they cast their vote? So let us not look at that, because we may say things that may raise eye opening to other people. But what I want to say, let me press for time.
Yes.
What I want to say is they have not been doing bad so far, but we also feel that they have not been doing good that much.
Okay. KK, we are taking the last bench to this program. We are looking now at the CPGM. 41 years that is celebrated this March.
Cameroonians are a fanfare public. celebrations that bring in dance and then eating and drinking, cherished by all.
Yeah.
And that the CPDM score has a very high score. I happen to have been in Yaoundé when the CPDM was celebrating the 41st anniversary. I have many friends who are members of the CPDM party. We sat together before they went partying. When I tried to get back the feedback from them, it was chaotic. Many people that were in charge of handling budgets to pay even transport for militants who came out, they went away. They are giving money in front of people and they disappeared in thin air. And I was like, hey, and you people just say it's lagging down like that. So the CPDM is celebrating 41 years with a legacy that is full of problems. A legacy where you find remember that the head of state came into power and talked about rigor and moralization. And so if we are supposed to really celebrate the CPDM, we have to go, we have to, what we have to evaluate the rigor, the level of rigor and moralization within the ranks of the CPDM to be able to say that they are doing well. And so if we go by that, you realize that more than 10 ministers who are members of the CPDM are in prison for embezzlement in public funds. If you look at the public today, we are talking about drug consumption, and other deviant unethical behavior, not only from youths but also from people who belong to the CPDM. And the evaluation of the CPDM we cannot do without looking at our natural resource base. Why are we still counted among the poorest country in the world? Why is 80% of Cameroonians, why are 80% of Cameroonians living below the poverty line?
Is it because of the CPDM party?
The CPDM is the ruling party. And a party that comes into power, the strategy, the governing strategy, whatever their memo are supposed to cater in to usher in development.
Okay.
And so we will not go to blame the SDF for.
Okay.
Let me write one.
Yes.
You
Just
can
1 minute. 1 minute.
The president of the republic is a member of the CPDM party.
Yes.
And so if he was not doing the right thing for the party would have thrown him out. But according to the party, since he's still a member, he's doing the right thing. Has the right thing taken Cameroonians away from their challenges that they have? If you see, they are celebrating 41 years with the Anglophone crisis. They are celebrating 25 with a lot of corruption and economic stagnation. So it is just a fanfare to show their existence. But one thing that I want to say, let me not be too negative about the CPDM, is that the CPDM has learned the Machiavellic strategy of how to hold power.
Okay.
And I think that other political parties, the opposition, should also be Machiavellic in their strategy or how to keep power to themselves.
Okay.
You will keep on blaming the CPDM, blaming the CPDM. What is the opposition doing after an election has passed and a lot of disgruntlement and violence that has come and people are locked up? Do the opposition go back to school to start learning from their errors? You'll still find that within the next election that will come in, the lawyers of opposition party will still file in complaints or with five that are
irregulated.
Okay. We shall be.
And then finally, to say, without let me just press for time like my panelists to say.
Yes.
Time. The CPDM has made it difficult for Cameroon to be accountable for what they do. There is a lot of impunity. Access to justice.
Okay, I want us to discussing on CPDM. Of course, they have been there for 41 years, so we can see you 41 years. We will not be able to discuss. So, let us end this program with maybe a tribute, or maybe Bella Kake was buried this weekend. A very sport lover that we all know. You have just few minutes.
Oh, Williams, they went. Bila Kakes lost or demise. Rick Southwest football lovers as a community in tears and pain. But as we know, it is a journey for all, and he went, and I believe he has lived a good part. He has left a good legacy for himself. If you look at his funeral, at least the Boya people reminded him that he has been a man of the pitch, and he was brought before a pitch. And at least he went well. I believe his heart also rested and smiled and said, my people also love me, and Cameroonians at large, the sport lover, the sport world, also dove their hearts to his demise and his exit. Thank you.
Kike?
Like I said, on Saturday when he was buried, Bela Mokake was a vibrant sport animator who left an indelible mark in the Cameroon sports scene. Through his actions, he brought people together, promoting sports development. And at the time he left the scene, he was already an icon, a legend, and the legacy that he left behind is going to inspire several youths to engage in that direction. You could see personalities that assisted or attended his last homage. You know, the people that contribute to nation building are not noise makers all the times. The people that contribute to nations building are not noise makers all the time. The people make noises for them, and Bella is one of such persons. I'm sure he's resting in the bosom of the Lord.
And really, he should be resting at the bosom. Thank you so very much for accepting the invitation and coming.
Thank you, my moderator. Thank you, Royal TV. Thank you, our audience. We wish to do more as long as you stay out there to tolerate us and to learn from us. We also learn from you. We appreciate your participation. We also beg that you do more next time. Royal TV is our home, FACO is our home, SAWE is our home, Cameroon in general is our home. We preach the good gospel for nation building. We preach the good gospel for administrative hygiene. We preach the good gospel for political hygiene, and we believe in cleansing our nation for the better future. Thank you.
KK, thank you so very much for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I equally want to express my gratitude for those who contributed online, and from their powerful contributions, I want to let them know that this platform is not open only for us. They should indicate and be part of this platform so that we can also, you know, we have diverse views and from different perspectives. So it is good that from the kind of contributions that the viewers they made, I am confident that they can sit on this platform and equally contribute in the development of this country through this Royal TV. I plead that they should indicate to the moderator to be part of this program, please. Thank you, guys.
Dear viewers, this is where we come to the end of today's program, where we had David and Isa, who made it possible for this program to come to fruition. It has been these two gentlemen, Engineer Paul Bertrand, who is a socio-political analyst, and Kiki Kenneth, who is a human rights defender. Viewers, we shall continue with this retrospect in the next edition. I've been moderator Mwambo William. See you next time.
Hey Royal TV viewers, your voice matters, and now we want to hear it louder than ever. We've created a special WhatsApp bag. Innovating in the audiovisual landscape is our dream. Bringing together finest journalists, media personnel, in this new era of media operations can only be possible thanks to Royal TV. Royal TV, coming up with news and entertainment.
No matter what, that's me cheap paying, I got go pay. Yeah, babe.
Documentaries, sports, debates, and many more to your doorsteps ever than before. Keep watching Royal TV.